All right, so this is where we are. We just seemingly have, quite a few videos dealing with racism. It just is what it is. And here we are yet again. We are looking at the fact that white men feel that they have the corner when it deals with anything Asian. They feel that they basically rule it, control it, bodyguard it, and that they are the ones that are able to tell people what is and what isn't. So remember, we had things such as The Last Samurai. We've had, some Assassin's Creeds directly out there. Uh, we've had other video games. We had Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, which again, I love that game, but it was pretty much a white guy that was doing the whole thing, right? Fair skin, blonde hair, all that. Samurai, right? Among other games and other characters that have technically implemented Asian or Japanese types of culture or martial arts or what have you. And it's completely fine, right? Nobody has a problem. Whenever white men happen to represent a culture, nobody has a problem. At this moment in time, you have white people representing Africa as being the last African, and so on and so on and so on. So here we are at this moment in time dealing with Cory Kenshin. And shout out to Cory Kenshin because he's been out here doing the thing for the longest time possible when it deals with content creation, YouTube, and so on. Brother is just, he's there, right? And he does it all on his own. He's like, yeah, I can't really afford. Well, he can't afford, but, can't really afford to have other people, create the content for him, such as like editing videos and stuff because, A, it's not going to come out the way that he wants to. But besides that, the problem that we have here is that Cory Kenshin took it upon himself. He took about a good year plus off from content creation, from YouTube, from social media, in order to work on his own manga. And he did that. And the opening week, it had about 200K sales. That is big, especially for somebody black that did this. That is big. That is, for me, I feel like that's a story, right? And I feel like it should be something that is celebrated, right? Because what do a lot of white people like to say? Oh, why don't you blacks, if you don't like, what's out here, why don't you leave and go to Africa? Why don't you guys just build your own? Why don't you guys just, create your own and stop crying and asking people or stop trying to push your way into other people's stuff? Stop with this woke DEI crap, right? And Cory did just that. He was like, no problem. I got you. I'm going to spend a year, spend my own money, and I'm going to sit up there and create my own manga, which is going to be from my mind, which is going to have representation of the characters that I want specifically in there. So we're all good. Y'all got all of these Marvel and DC and whatever comics out here that are pretty much all of y'all, except for like 5% of the characters. And now we got this manga. You know what white men came out here and say? Oh no, this is woke. This is DEI. This is racist. Why is it that blacks want to be, everywhere? How is this not cultural appropriation? Why would you sit up here and call it a manga if it's not made in Japan by the Japanese? This is just a comic book and yada yada. Like I said, you just can't win. You can't win. And I want to broaden this just a bit. This is pretty much how America is. White people will complain about whatever it is that black people are doing, and then black people will create their own thing. And then once we do, white people will turn around and be like, oh, see how you guys are so racist? See how you guys are segregationalists? See how you guys are so divisive? Like, why do you want to separate yourselves from everybody else? Like, just imagine if somebody white wanted to come out with their own manga, and it was a white manga and it was nothing but white characters. What would you have to say then? Well, we wouldn't care, because when we look at Japanese anime, it doesn't really look Japanese. It looks like you. So we really wouldn't care. It would be the same thing that we've always sat up there and seen. And the craziest part is, 9 times out of 10, if you ask anybody black directly out there, who is your favorite manga character or comic book character, they're going to sit up there and list somebody white. 9 times out of 10, people are going to list somebody white, right? You're going to have the main ones, like the Iron Mans. You're going to have the Wolverines. You're going to have the Spider-Mans. You're going to have the Eddie Brocks, the Thors directly out there. Some people may even say Hawkeye and Sentry, Punisher, right? You'll have a large list of considerably Caucasian individuals. And do you think that black people are going to be out here whining and crying directly about that? Combined two words is going to be a word today. But do you think that black people are going to be sitting up here crying? No, it just is what it is. We know what it is, right? And we're used to it. So this is why we just read it. We just deal with it, right? Or in other instances, we create our own things such as Milestone Comics, where it is representation of us, of our stories, of our heroes, of the powers that we feel that our characters should have. And they're as powerful as, one could deem themselves to be, and so on and so on and so on. But, again, people will tend to want to complain because they're not specifically in the spotlight. They're not anywhere in the scope of the story. And that's one of the biggest problems that I've noticed when it deals with white people, because they're not the highlight, because they're not the savior, such as the last Black Panther Wakanda, how they had a government agent, a white man, Caucasian man, in a all African country, and he was using the technology and he was helping the Wakandans protect Wakanda. Again, that whole thing makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. Like I said before, somehow, some way, if you show white people doing something negative, you have to have the overarching theme of that one great white savior. And then on top of that, there always has to be a theme of, hey, this agent here who is working for the United States government, and we all know how the United States government is and what it is that they like to do. Hey, even though they seem bad, they're actually really, the good guys. And this agent Coulson, who, inevitably should not even be in Wakanda, we shouldn't actually be happening. It's against a lot of rules and regulations. We're still going to do it. We're still going to open up our doors and allow this foreigner who is not supposed to be here around our technology and all these other, we're still going to allow him to be. I'm sorry, that wasn't Coulson. That was another agent that replaced Coulson, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But it's the whole point of that. We have too many stories where black people are willing to forgive and to let in other people, no matter how it is that they deemed us, no matter how it is that they treated us. If you look at the overarching theme of part of the movie, you literally had people who are part of these nations, Caucasian, that were trying to cause some type of coup, or they were trying to roll directly into Wakanda with their little mini army and steal vibranium. Huh? Word? While Wakanda was trying to be nice directly to them, open arms and everything. Like I said, this is the exact same thing. This is how a lot of the natives lost their lands in real life around this planet. But it's like, even in real life, or even when we happen to write our own stories, we're still not learning a lesson. We're still not, using common sense, right? But again, there has to be that white type of savior. So going back to the whole thing with Cory Kenshin, it's the exact same thing. I plan on also buying the manga as well too. I plan on doing that 100%, because I'm going to show love and support. And again, this is probably one of a few that we literally have out here where a black man decided that, hey, this is something I want to do with my own money, and give some representation, and to, put us on the map somewhere. So that out of the sea of innocence, pasty or clear or white faces that are directly out there that we've been growing up and seeing for oh so long, and a lot of these iconic stories that we love so much, now we have at least our start, and it starts with Cory, and I'm all with that. I'm 100% all for that. And like I said, it's completely funny to me to see white people react the way that they are reacting directly to this. And some of the nitpicking that people want to say, again, they're just being racist and they don't really have anything. So they'll be like, oh, but it's not, really manga. It's a comic book because you're American and this, that, and the thing. Just say that you don't like it because somebody black made it. Because it could be somebody black in Japan and y'all would still find a way to disqualify it from being an actual manga. This is sort of like how, what was it? What was the young tennis star's name? If somebody made it this far, you can write her name directly in the comment section. But there is a black tennis star where she stated that she is part Japanese or whatnot, and we all know that the Japanese don't accept what would be considered half and half directly over there. You're either full or you're just not, right? And especially if you're black. You got black Japanese people directly over there that will tell you the exact same thing. Like I said, they have videos all over YouTube. But the funniest thing is, if you are white, it's completely different. They're not going to sit up there and do that to you. They're not going to tell you that. Not going to do that to you. Because like I said before, the whole world is so accepting of white people representing them. And also the white culture directly out here is so used to having a home in everybody else's culture and representing them that it's pretty much a normalcy. So this is why they have this huge ego and this pride problem when it deals with other people's cultures. When it is other people tell them like, no, that's cool, like be where you are, we don't need you over here, we don't need your representation, you represent Europe, you don't represent us. And then they start blowing up. Then they start having this major problem, this major issue, and you'll start seeing a real racism come directly out there. Again, like I said before, it's crazy, it's nonsensical, it doesn't make any sense. And white people, y'all just can't make up y'all mind. You can't. You'll make up the rules and then you'll move the goalpost at the end of the day, the same way that you have always done, even in America. You'll tell us to sit up there and build our own, and then once we do, you'll get jealous and envious, and then you'll start burning down towns and cities. Still to this day, if you ask a white person and you point out the history and ask them, what is the real reason for y'all to burn down these hundreds of towns and cities? They can't give you a valid reason. They'll try to sit up there and bring on, well, I know about this one story, and this one black here, he was such a criminal, he did this thing, so he deserved that. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's leave that on the plate, no problem, right? So you said that's the justification. So what about the other 99 towns and cities? What about that? What you got? What stories you got? Right? Since you seemingly think that this one is justification for the rest of them, tell me about the rest of those then. Right? Tell me why those other people were all so angry when y'all didn't even want to be near us. Crazy work. 100% crazy work. And the other thing that people don't like to talk about during that time frame is the fact that even though we had segregation, right, black people could not go into white places or areas, but white people were free to move to and from any which area they wanted to. Crazy work. Notice how that works. They don't want us to be there or to impede on their thing or their territory, but they can freely just move within hours, drive cars, go to the gas stations, go to the movie theaters, go direct. That don't even make any sense. That literally, it makes no type of sense. No type of sense. But hey, this is the world that we live directly in. So long story short, because it's probably been going for about 13 minutes and I wasn't trying to do that. The main thing is this. Anybody black directly out here, if you don't know about Cory Kenshin, go watch his videos in his YouTube channel. The man is a gamer. He has all entertainment, everything directly up there. Funny stuff. And if you are also into mangas, please go support this brother. I would actually like to get his numbers up to a cool million. I'm just gonna be honest. I would love to see him hit like a nice million directly on his manga. And again, Cory has also stated before that you can call it a comic book or a manga. He doesn't care. He knows that people see things differently. It is what it is. But even still with that, white people still want to nitpick and have a problem. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below if you made it that far. And I will catch you guys in the next video.